Ah yes, if it isn't one of my favourite art types in Master Duel. Dinomorphia. Finally! I've been waiting for this card in Master Duel for so goddamn long, and Konami's finally decided to actually add it to the game. I don't think people will quite understand just how significant of an upgrade this card is over the current iteration of Dinomorphia, as essentially this card covers the two main downsides the deck currently faces. So first of all, just like with Branded Fusion, this deck list is terrified of a certain level 3 tuner monster, and because of another certain cockroach, that tuner monster is in every single deck currently being played in Master Duel. And this deck list, it was just terrified of it. It just prayed that you would draw one of your Solemn Strikes, or you would just lose a lot of the time. But thankfully, we now have a searchable counter trap that can negate the stupid zombie monster. The second downside of the deck was this art type. I don't know if you guys know this, but it generally gets pretty low on life points, meaning you are very susceptible to just dying via battle damage. Yes, there was a counter trap card that you could put in the graveyard that protect you one time from battle damage, but other than that, that was basically it. I guess your fusion monster can reduce attack sometimes and that can protect you, but most of the time, if your life points are low and your opponent has negated your fusion monster, you were just dead. But now we have a trap card that has the same countermeasure as the previous trap card to defend you from battle whilst it's in the graveyard, and it has a lingering effect where once you activate it, you will not die to battle damage that turn. Your life points will just get halved and halved and halved and halved, but you just will not die. Unfortunately though, this trap card doesn't cover the deck's third main downside, which is, it's a trap deck, not named Labyrinth. Therefore, it can kind of struggle going second a lot of the time. But with 3 copies of Droll and 3 copies of Maxx being legal, I'm sure you'll get by just fine. So without further ado, let's jump into some gameplay checking out Dinomorphia. So here's today's deck list. Now just a reminder before I get to the deck list, if you guys are enjoying today's video and want to see more content just like this in the future, especially if you're a returning viewer, so apparently about 35% of you are watching this or even subscribed to the channel, means 65% of you haven't even subscribed yet. So if you guys are enjoying this kind of content, want to see more deck lists from me in the future or more videos from me in the future, please remember to leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel down below. Alright, let's jump into this deck list. Alright, so obviously I'm not going to spend too much time talking about this deck list, considering it's just a bunch of old cards you've seen before, other than of course the brand new card, the Dinomorphia Intact. When a monster effect is activated whilst you control a Dinomorphia card, pay half your life points to negate the activation. If you do, destroy that monster. Also, whenever you take battle damage this turn, the damage taken becomes half your life points at that time. So an insane card that is a counter trap, so really hard for your opponent to respond to, that can negate any of your opponent's bullshit, and on top of that, it can just defend you from taking any sort of battle damage for that turn. Additionally, during damage calculation while your life points are 2000 or less, if you would take battle damage, you can banish this card from your graveyard to not take battle damage for the rest of that battle. So on future turns, because obviously you wouldn't use this on the same turn you've activated it, considering you're already protected from basically any sort of battle damage anyway, but on future turns, if this thing is still in the graveyard, you can still defend yourself from potential threats to your life points. Now thankfully you're going to be seeing this trap card most of your games, as it's very easily searchable. For starters, it's a Dinomorphia card, so it's easily searchable off your Therizia, which is obviously searchable off of your Fossil Dig, so that's already 6 ways to search for this card, on top of it already being a 3 of in your deck list. Then of course we've got Pot of Prosperity, we've got your Pot of Duality, and of course we've got 2 copies of Wannabee, which is a great little card you can discard from your hand. Then based on how many empty spell and trap card zones your opponent has, look at that many cards at the top of your deck, grab a trap card and set it on your field. It's basically like having 2 copies of Pot of Prosperity, but they're only usable during the end phase, which is also great because it means you can use it during your opponent's turn. Let's say they went first, to then have a trap card that's ready to use on your turn. So a nice little addition to the deck list. And other than that, the rest of the deck list, like I said, it's all just your stock standard sort of Dinomorphia stuff. The last thing I do want to mention though is in the current format, there's a lot of people obviously trying out the super heavy samurai stuff and the new Vanadium stuff, all these annoying combo deck type things that like to search for a billion different cards. So play Droll and Lockbird. If you're not playing this card right now, you're just absolutely trolling yourself. This card is fantastic in current format. Just toss it in your deck list. It'll make this way better going second, especially considering it's a deck list that generally struggles going second. So that'll do it for the deck list. So without further ado, let's check out some gameplay showing what this shit can do. Alright, so today I've got 6 replays to share with you guys, all of which were taken from in Diamond, where I started at Diamond 4, ended up at Diamond 2, very close to Diamond 1 by the way. This deck list is easily going to be a master deck list if you just play it for a little bit. It is sometimes a fairly slow deck, so it might take a little while to climb, especially considering, like I mentioned earlier, going second, it's not the greatest, but the fact that you win so many games going first should offset for when you go second, especially considering a lot of your games going second, if you just open Maxx or Droll, you're going to be completely fine. And a lot of these replays, I try to get a couple going second, but it's really hard to show off some really good going second replays, at least some back and forth ones. Most of the times when you win going second, it's just because you activated a Droll, you activated a Maxx, and your opponent just decided to not play the game or concede, so not the most fun going second replays, but I try to grab at least a couple to get a good idea of what this deck can do going second. Alright, but going first, the deck list is absolutely fantastic now. As like I mentioned multiple times, your main downside for the deck is completely covered. So once you've got a hold of one of your fusion traps, your second priority is always going to be your Intact, because like I've mentioned a billion times, we hate Ash Blossom, this thing deals with Ash Blossom. So searching for that and passing the turn. Alright, should we change these sleeves in this mat here, this field? Alright, hit with a cross-out designator, then going to get changed for a Maxx. This is a little bit annoying considering we're a trap deck, so when we fusion summon, we're doing it during our opponent's turn, so he's now going to draw cards potentially. So we're going to try to make sure we're only fusion summoning the bare minimum this turn. Alright, he's going to be using his thing to search for his Kashtira. I'm still surprised at how popular Kashtira is despite all the nerfs they got, because it was a pretty heavy nerf, and pure Kashtira is still quite heavily played on the ladder for some reason. Might just be in Diamond though, I don't know. Alright, somebody's monster, we're just going to Solemn Strike that. With this art type, it's generally better to use your Solemn Strikes fairly early, considering if you use all your fusion things and your trap cards and everything else, you'll be continuously halving your life points, putting yourself dangerously low to a point where you can no longer use your Solemn Strike, because this card is a flat 1500 life points, whereas all your other ones are just halving your life points, so it's generally better to use your Solemn Strikes fairly early, before you're not able to use them at all. Because yeah, you can see I'm already down to 3250. One more card and I'm just not going to be able to use the, I wouldn't be able to use Solemn Strike. Or maybe 2 more cards. Alright, summoned another card. I'm going to use my Frenzy to minus my life points. Summon out a Rexterm. Give him 1 card draw, which is going to be for a Rise Heart. We've got a Ferret Flames. Non-target removal of everything on his field, tossing it all back in the deck. And yeah, that's just it from me. I think he just concedes. Ferret Flames is such a strong card, man. The fact it makes your opponent grab the cards and put them back in the deck, so it also gets around things that are immune to card effects, is fantastic as well. So if you ever come across a Pearly, if you happen to have Ferret Flames, you're good against that matchup as well. Though I actually haven't seen a Pearly in ages now. I don't know why. I don't think Pearly is that bad after the ban list. Maybe people just don't really like the deck or something. I certainly seen way more Kashtira. I feel like Kashtira got hit way harder, but anyway. And Pearly was just a better deck in general beforehand, so I don't know. Alright, going first once again. Pot of Prosperity. Alright, looking at the top 3, grabbing some cards, or top 6, sorry. Probably just gonna grab my Therizia, or Therizia, how you pronounce this thing. Normal summon, grabbing my counter trap because we have my Frenzy already. Not the greatest hand. Generally, you don't want to draw these things, especially considering this card specifically has to use the deck for the fusion summon, so it's a little bit bad opening all these, but what can you do? Alright, so up against a Pendulum deck. And looks like this Unicorn man happened to open the card here. I already opened the Kashtira card because he wasn't going to search with this for some reason, so I assume it's already in his hand. Or he's just getting the counter trap or something. So before he goes for his Pendulum summon, I'm going to summon out a copy of my Kentregina, then use Kentregina's effect to copy the trap card we just used. So we can make sure if he goes for any sort of Pendulum summon, whatever monster he summons can't use their effect, if they have at least 2000 attack. So this card at least is completely turned off. He still gets to use this thing though. Alright, summons a monster, I'm now going to Intact that. I'm kind of worried my opponent's going to go for the Link 5 here with my Rexterm, so I'm trying to make sure he doesn't have 4 monsters on field. And that's one of the main ways people out this thing, is they just go for the, what's it, White Lady Jump Scare, whatever it's called. Alright, Barrow Ball Blocker. And there it is. He literally went for it. Underworld Goddess. Swings in, and thankfully, because we've used the counter trap earlier, we only take half our life points worth of damage, so it's not even lethal. Alright, once again, sending a card to my graveyard. Hit my opponent, minus 1,000. Hit him for another 1,000. Alright, summon out the Unicorn, goes for a swing in. We've got Intact and Grave to defend ourselves, so we really just don't care. Alright, summoning back the Therizia because our monster was destroyed. Grabbing another copy of our Domain. He's going to place a card in his extra. Go for a Pendulum Summon. We're going to negate that. Unfortunately, don't destroy it because he had some way to protect it in the graveyard, but at least he doesn't get the search from it. And he's already used his Pendulum Summon this turn, so he goes for a copy of Beyond the Pendulum, which negates basically everything he's got until he does a Pendulum Summon, and he's already Pendulum Summoned this turn, so I'm not sure what his plan was there, but anyway. Alright, these two cards, one going to send a card to graveyard, he's going to use Cool by the Grave. Don't really care about that though, because all I'm going to do is just make an Xyz monster, go for my Laggia, and he's just dead on field. I don't think I even had any more resources left in deck for Domain. Alright, on to our next one. So, replay number 3. Alright. So this is a going second example, and as you can see I have Maxx and Droll and Lockbird. Although my opponent did have an Ash, and I'm pretty sure the Droll and Lockbird wasn't that good versus this guy. This might be the tier player. I know there's a tier player and there was like a water deck or whatever it's called, I forgot the name of it. Oh no, this guy had a Cool by the Grave for this, spoiler alert. This guy was playing not Dragon Link specifically, he was playing Dragoonity, I think, or Dragoonity, Dragon Link, or something. Either way, I'm gonna fast forward this replay because he took forever. I don't know, this guy he just kept going, he never ended. Apparently his deck has a lot of cards that are just once per turn, but not hard once per turns, such as the Field Spell, there's the stupid... This thing is not a hard once per turn either. He's going to use that to bounce the Field Spell, so he can use the Field Spell again. He goes for a copy of this dude. Grabs some card. This deck is filled with so many Garnets too. Like, if you count the Garnets this guy is playing, it gets pretty extreme at some point. He's already used a couple. Like, my god. How this guy isn't just breaking his ass off, I have no idea. Alright, brings that back and use it once again. Grabbing a stone to cover Blue Eyes. Yep, he's playing Blue Eyes in his deck. Great. I'm sure that doesn't ever brick at any point. Summons a copy of Red Eyes Darkness. Gets another search. Gets a card dragon. Alright, makes his Striker Dragon. And luckily he's got rid of the Field Spell already though. Saryuja being summoned. No, he was certainly cooking this lad. Brings this shit back again. Although he can't use the effect now, I don't think. No, he can, never mind. Runs a Mist Valley as well, another brick. He's become the Smorlode Savage, and that is his end field. So, not sure, I think he's coping a bit too hard. Maybe he should just play a pure Dragon Link, but he certainly, this man was cooking. He was cooking. Alright, so not going to use this during his end phase like I could have, because obviously I don't want this thing to negate it, so I decided not to. Using my Fossil Dig, he doesn't negate that. Then he also doesn't negate the Therizia, which I thought was really odd. I don't know why you wouldn't have negated this. Maybe he's not super aware of what this art type does or something. But anyway, does mean he had the negate ready for my Ash Blossom though. Either way, my Wannabee would have been safe, so... Gonna pray to God we hit a trap card off of the 4 cards we get to look at. he's also playing this fucking thing. My god, this guy has so many bricks in his deck, man. Anyway, Wannabee looking at the top 4, hoping to hit a trap card. Hit some nice trap cards, actually. God damn! Got me an Intact, and we're good to go. Alright, so currently I can't summon anything, because this thing is preventing me from summoning anything, so... But as soon as he tries to get a monster on field, we have got a Solemn Strike. And he passes the turn, I can just summon my Therizia and beat over this thing, so... Get this thing out of my face. This thing will destroy itself during the end phase if he has no dragons to reveal in hand, so as long as he can't kill me this turn, I'm completely fine. And yeah, he's just gone. Alright, so that guy had a bit of an interesting deck. That was at least an example of going second. An example of going second where we didn't actually have to rely on a copy of a Droll or Maxx, because both of them got negated. I can't believe that guy was playing such a Garnet heavy brick deck, and he still opened Call by the Grave and Ash Blossom for the Maxx. The classic, classic gameplay. Alright, back to going first. So searching for Intact, setting my entire hand, and passing the turn. Alright, so he activates this. I think in hindsight, probably should have negated this thing. I wasn't really sure if this thing is worth negating in this deck, but I have to end up negating it later on anyway, because there's a second effect, so it turns out it's pretty important to get rid of this thing. I think. I don't know. Not super versed in playing against Branded yet, because I haven't been playing much of the ladder recently. Alright, Solemn Strike going to be negating this card. He's going to be using his Albion, not going to bother negating that shit though. Go right ahead. Tries to end his turn or end the main phase, so because this card's only main phase, I decide to use it now. Unfortunately, he does have an Ash Blossom to stop me. But I've got the Intact, so we're good to go. I could just wait to my turn to do all this, considering this card can be used during either player's turn. It's only the other Dinomorphia card that can't be. So it might have been a bit better to do so, but I wanted to use the once per turn effect of Kentregina. Was a little bit risky though, because he could have been baiting me or held like a Super Poly in hand or something, or I don't know. Either way, using my Brute to now pop this card before it goes to his turn to deal with potentially if it's a set Super Poly, which is what I was worried about. Sending some dudes to the graveyard, summoning a second Kentregina. Alright, triggering my Therizia because we destroyed it. This will bring back our boy. We can now send a copy of Frenzy to the graveyard, I think. Yeah, Frenzy. Oh, sorry, Alert. I think I said Frenzy a bunch in this video. If I said Frenzy at any point, and I'm generally meaning the Alert. I'm not even sure what Dinomorphia Frenzy is. It's definitely a card. I'm not sure which one it is. I do say, pretty sure I keep saying that a lot. I mean Alert if I say Frenzy. So this revives 2 dudes. Alright. Frenzy might be the counter spell and trap card, I think? I don't know. It's somewhere in here. I didn't just pull that name out my ass, I swear. Alright. So he summons this thing. He can't even... even if he went to battle phase and tried to swing into this 0-attack monster, it wouldn't have mattered, because I've already used the counter trap, so I'm basically immune to dying by battle. And it's in the graveyard, so I could even banish it to defend myself from the battle if I wanted to. So it's pretty pointless trying to swing in here. All it would do is give me an extra revive from Kentregina going to grave. And yeah, he knows it's over. I've got too big of a field. Alright, up against this guy next. Yeah, which one is Frenzy? I'm gonna look it up. Hang on, let me look up real quick, mid-video. Oh, it's the fusion spell. I'm so dumb. I'm actually so dumb. I don't know why I get Alert and Fusion mixed, and Frenzy mixed up, but anyway. Alright, so this is another example going second. Once again, you'll notice I used Maxx, so... Wannabee during his end phase for the 3 cards, hoping to hit a trap card so we can use it during our turn. And we didn't hit one because, yeah, unlucky. Fossil Deed grabbing a Therizia. I swear I'm butchering this card's name as well. Alright, so if you already have this card, by the way, and you've got a copy of your Fossil Dig, you're going to be searching for a copy of Miss, because Miss can just defend any of your dinosaurs from any activated effects of your opponent. If my opponent tried to imperm this thing here, could have just missed to defend myself. This card is fantastic in this deck list, but definitely not necessary, which is why I'm only playing one copy of it, because it's just basically what you're going to search for if you have no other good search target for Fossil Dig, considering all your other search targets are normal summons. So if you already have a normal summon, you can grab Miss. Alright, going my Intact, setting my stuff, and passing the turn, making sure to dodge the imperm columns potentially. Alright, uses an Ice Jade card, we're going to negate that. Don't really know what this deck list does, but I read this thing, it said something about like special summon a token or something, I was just like, nah. I don't know what you're trying to do there, mate, but nah. Also, you'll notice I didn't go for my Fusion Summon this turn during his turn. It's because I have no monster setup, so no monster negate setup, so I'm kind of scared of an Ash Blossom, and there's a very easy way to deal with that. I have 2 level 4 monsters here, so I can literally set up a copy of my Dolkka, so if my opponent does have an Ash Blossom, I can negate the Ash. But I top deck into a level 4 anyway, so I just use that instead. Alright, sending my alert to the graveyard. You'll notice I send alert to the graveyard fairly often. It's because the card is really good once you've used all your material, and you have a Kentregina on board, you can just bring back your shit. I don't generally like searching for the Frenzy. I like using the Frenzy during my opponent's turn, because then I can use the level 4 monsters to go into Xyz plays, for example. Alright, opponent goes for a Maxx. I'm going to negate that, purely because this card is actually a non-once per turn double negate. I'm pretty sure it's non-once per turn. Yeah, it's a non-once per turn negate, so I can just use it twice. If he had an Ash Blossom, I could still negate it. I still double check this card every single time, I swear, because every time I read, I'm like, there's no way this card is not a once per turn. That's pretty crazy. But I guess it is not generic. You do need dinosaurs for it, but if that card could be played in more archetypes, it'd be pretty insane. Alright, final replay. And this would be the going second versus, what's he gonna call it? Tier. He has an Ash Blossom for my Maxx. I do have my Droll Lockbird. But I don't think Droll Lockbird does a whole lot versus this deck once he's already done his one search for the turn. Because they only search for like their trap card most of the time anyway. I guess there's a couple of searches they do, but anyway. So we do get to draw and Lockbird him here, which I don't know if it actually had that much of an impact. I don't think it changed much about the turn. Alright, doing his whole annoying tier stuff, blah blah blah, milling cards. I don't know why people are still coping on tier after the amount of nerfs this deck list got as well, but you know, each to your own, whatever you feel like playing. I'm out here playing Dinomorphia, so. Alright. So draw into a Wannabee, which is not too bad of a draw. Set 2, and praying to God one of the top 3 is going to be a trap card. And we got a good one. So the good thing about Domain here is that this card, although it negates Special Summon, it negates the activation of the card. So although this card's a once per turn, if it negates the activation, it technically wasn't activated, so you can still use the second copy. So we're good to go. Alright. Activating his Grief, we'll be using my Domain in response. So I'm going to try to deal with the Domain. I'm quite happy to just activate my second copy in a second. Waiting for this thing to be, activation to be negated. And now I can use the second copy freely. And we're going to use it right now. Now, one thing this deck list does actually struggle against is Bagooska. So if this guy went into a Bagooska here, it would actually be really annoying. Because Bagooska actually puts your dinosaur monsters in defense position, where they have 0 defense. So with 0 defense, even if you have your big fusion on field that reduces attack, they can still just beat into it because that's 0 defense. So if he went for Bagooska here, it probably would have been a better play than what he went for. Than what he did. If he has Bagooska in his deck list, that card is really annoying. Also, we play no links in my list, so we can't just put Sling and attack to deal with it. It's really difficult. I do have my Brute here, but I know he has a I don't know, but he's... Spoiler alert, he has a continuous trap here that I had to deal with, so... I don't know why he went for a Zeus play. This Zeus doesn't even do anything versus my guy. So he tries to target this thing, I just stop it over, I don't care. I activate Fusion Summon, activate his trap card. I can pop this trap card in response if I wanted to, but I've got Misc, so I'm going to defend it instead. This way I can Fusion Summon using the Fusion monster on field and the card in deck. And there is my Rexterm. Alright, he tries to book a Moonit despite me being under Misk right now. Bit of an interesting choice, but anyway. And then I really don't know why he went for a Zeus boy. He 100% should have made Bagooska if he had it. But I guess he thought maybe that the previous card was actually going to do something, trying to pop this thing, or I don't know. Maybe he forgot I had Misk in hand, or I don't know. Actually, I think I actually revealed I had Misk in hand, so either way. Summoning my card from the graveyard, because Misk can also banish dinosaur monsters from your graveyard to summon out at level 4, and this card on special summon also does its search, so grabbing my Frenzy for later on. Swinging in, he's going to try to negate it. We've got Brute, so I can pop this, pop that. This is obviously continuous, so it's a goner. Using this thing to reduce this monster's attack down to a measly 250. Zeus in defense is kind of annoying to deal with, but at some point I'll summon out Kentregina and just Brute get rid of it, so we can definitely out it. It's just kind of annoying having a 3k defense. Battle phase, we're just gonna reduce it. I don't know what he expected, but good attempt, I guess. Evenly matched. Now, this was actually a bit of a difficult choice, because unfortunately, if he had Ash Blossom, the Ash Blossom would counter the Frenzy. But if he had Imperm, the Imperm would counter the Rexterm. So it was kind of like a bit of a gamble as to which one he might have in his hand. He'd already used an Ash, so maybe it was better to keep the Trap card on field. Maybe. But probably more likely at Imperm, but he might not be playing Imperm. I don't know. I just decided to keep Rexterm. Either way, we won the game, so who cares? Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's replays. Hope you guys enjoyed them. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, hope to see you guys in the next one. Laters.
Hey, big brother, can I watch SpongeBob?
Shut up, Mokuba. I'm busy flagging YouTube videos to compensate for the fact that I have an extremely small penis.
Oh.